Good morning, traders. Greg here from Master Trader. So news is out on the French election. Market obviously likes it. We're getting this gap up from this sloppy consolidation. Now, when we see this type of a gap, and any gap, next question is, where's it gapping to? Is it gapping into resistance? If it was gapping down into support, does it clear support or resistance? And what, in other words, what is the likelihood of continuation? So the S&P futures that I have up here, you can see the gap up, and it's a nice gap. It's right into this resistance here where this big topping tail was, clearly where there was a whole lot of sellers there a couple of weeks ago. So the question is, can they get through it? Well, you know, it's been a sloppy, erratic market. I would definitely suggest giving this, excuse me, a little time here. But it's a bullish gap from a double bottom. It's up into resistance. Now, the thing to do is to give it, I said, some time and see if it can consolidate a bit, absorb the supply that I would anticipate is going to be here. Again, I mean, some of the sellers that are in this area that were looking for continued downside, probably some would have already stepped aside based on the fact that prices went sideways here last week and turned higher. And this could bring in new buyers and demand to push it up. So here's the 24-hour chart. That was the gap up, the little bottoming, rounding bottom there, push up, and they're pulling in here as I'm doing this. I'm gonna take a look at the 5-minute. So there was, the little retest trying to go up to a new high, and then the pull back here. So we'll see if this should go sideways, right? If you're trading these, if this should go sideways, say in the first 30 minutes, and hold up, I would consider buying at that point for a move higher, but I would not buy these here at the open. So see with this resistance that's right in here. What I do like and does suggest the potential to continue to move up is the fact that the weekly is in an uptrend, and it had pulled back here, and there's the retest as we squash that data a bit, and we're gapping up from a green candle, obviously as I mentioned, into resistance. But if it can hold up here, there is the potential based on this higher time frame pattern to go higher. Now, what we don't want in a situation like this from the bullish point of view is to fill the gap. And if it fills the gap, that's going to be, not necessarily a totally bearish sign, but certainly a lot less bullish than if it doesn't fill the gap. Now let's just look at where the NASDAQ is, right, making new all-time highs, bullish pattern. It was erratic. It held the 50 and moving up here. So we'll see. Does it hold on to it? If we look at it from the start point at the 50, it's up multiple days in a row, and it's gapping and it's moving, and so the Qs are going to gap up here. This is a 24-hour chart, and as I said, we will see, how this chops around here intraday and how that sets up. The Dow, which has been lagging, gapping up into this resistance here, but relatively deep into it so far, holding up at the top. The 5-minute, a little double top up there. We'll see how this, trades in the first half hour or so. Weekly does look great, actually. Let's look at oil going down here, got clobbered last week, coming into the bottom of the trading range. Bonds, gap down on the news, right at the 20 MA here. The weekly overall has been going sideways, and the benefit of this to a large extent is financials, which are gapping up nicely, but they got clobbered last week. Citibank gapping up there, and so we'll see how they hold up here, seeing that they have been pretty weak of late. Okay. Let me just take a look at some of my screens here. What is else might be of interest that's gapping? Where's this here? 27.58. No, I'm not interested. If it was gapping up above here, maybe of interest. So, we'll see how this plays out here. This thing, 20, gapping up here. I'm not seeing things that are really exciting me here on the gap list, but I haven't gotten to my larger gap list. And so let's, as I mentioned, let's give it 30 minutes or so and see how things play out with this gap. Great trading, everyone, and we will update later in the week. And for our subscribers, we will be updating you later in the day. Have a great trading day and week, guys.